What is going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some Monster Legends. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out with me today. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button to show your support. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright, peeps. Today, we're going to do our analysis of the Sparking Mantis. So he's already out of the offers over here. He actually may show up because like a Premier Monster Cell. I don't know. He may show up. I don't know. He might. Who knows? But it is time to analyze him. Go over his skills, where he fits in the scheme of things. Is he worth getting? Now, I didn't do an analysis of him while he was on offer. You should never buy a Premier Monster when they're on offer for 299 gems, because that's a humongous waste of your gems. In fact, if you were just to wait until double sell weeks when they start putting those Premier Monsters into double sell week, which they do fairly often, maybe a month or two behind, but you'll be able to get him for 150 gems, so literally half the price. Is he so great you have to have him now? Probably not. So, that being said, we're going to jump in, do an analysis of him, kind of analyze where he fits into the grand scheme of things in terms of other stamina drainers and stuff like that, and then that's going to be a thing, peeps. Alright, peeps, so jumping right in here, we got Sparking Mantis. I'll say up front, this guy is a pretty solid monster. He has 3,465 power, which is a really solid power stat. It's not the best, it's definitely not the worst, okay? Life, 29,556, a pretty tanky life stat. That's not bad at all. That's really good for what I think he's best at, which is damage dealing. Some people say denial, but we'll get into that in a second. Now his speed, 3,476. Very fast speed. He's tied with monsters like Thyra, Alex Bone, they've got 3,476. So really good in the Thunder category. Really fast monster overall. Max gold per minute, 244. Just a little nice extra tidbit there to know. His trait, immune to freeze. Now this is odd for a Thunder monster to be immune to freeze due to the fact that no Thunder monsters actually freeze enemies. But it does allow him to counter certain monsters, like Frostbite. With its AoE freeze, it can block that and still be able to attack. So it's kind of useful, but really when you're fighting water monsters, you already have an edge due to the fact that you are a thunder monster. So this just kind of makes his edge against water monsters even better. So definitely not a bad monster pickup. Special skill down here, Detached. The AoE 55 power, nothing to write home about, it's just 55 power. But it's the AoE stun that you want to look out for here. Anytime you get an AoE stun, freeze, or something on your ultimate skill, it's a very good ultimate skill in my opinion, especially an AoE version. So the damage isn't amazing, but it's an AoE stun, so it's definitely good. Skills. Up here we have Diurnal Habits. This is a 45 power AoE thunder damage, so it's really high AoE power, and it's also going to remove 30% of the stamina from the enemy and give them stamina leakage. So that's pretty hot. That's pretty attractive. That's definitely good. Moving over, we have Abdomen Glands. This is a 75 power single target special damage. So this is able to one-shot people. It's a very powerful skill. And not only that, it also removes 50% of the stamina from the target. So if it does happen to live, it's losing half its stamina. Moving on, we've got Stereo Vision. This is another AoE. It's only 35 power, so a little weaker than Diurnal Habits is. But it's also another 30% stamina drain on the enemies. So again, you're draining more stamina. Very good. Moving down, we've got the Vigor Absorber. This is no damage at all. It's a 0 damage skill, but it drains 100% of the stamina from the enemy. So if you're running him as a damage dealer, this may not be a skill you actually take. You can take it, obviously, to drain 100% stamina is not bad, but it does 0 damage, so up to you. Moving over, we've got Dismounting Male. This is a 60 power special damage, single enemy again, but this one is also going to remove 50% of the stamina from the target and apply stamina leak to the target. So again, you've got another 50% stamina drain, but this time it also stacks on a stamina leakage. So, again, it's almost a deny built in with really heavy damage, so it's not bad at all. Then over here on the last one, we've got Bigger Glands. This is kind of like his a self-buffing skill a little bit, but not really, because it's not a self-skill. It actually has to a target enemy, so you can't use it while possessed, or he will, he'll drain the stamina of one of his friends. But either way, it's going to drain 30% of the target stamina. He's going to recover 30% stamina and get stamina regeneration. So, not a bad skill if you're in a pinch, but if you're running him as a pure offensive-based monster, it may be one of those spots you don't take due to the fact that it's going to be a slot that does no damage. So, up to you completely. But what I think a lot of people want to say is, run him as the denial monster. I've heard so many people say, he's denial, you to run 3 speed on him. And I'm going to go ahead and say, that's not his best setup. I will flat out argue it. It is not his best setup. I don't think you should run 3 speed on him. In my opinion, that's a mistake. I think this guy is a phenomenal damage dealer. He's actually one of the best, in my opinion, that does stamina drains. One of the best out there. Blob is really good too, but I think this guy's almost like a Blob 2.0, a little bit better than Blob. So, with that being said, why damage dealer? Well, one, he has a 45 power AoE attack. When you stack strength runes with that, that's going to hit really hard. Now, that's not the only reason. Being that that is also a stamina drain with stamina leak, if you have your main denial monster, you know, stun, freezing, whatever, this is going to give you 2 turns pretty much for him to attack and stam drain the enemies. The first time you've popped Diurnal Habits, you're going to drain 30% stamina and give stamina leakage. The second time you pop Stereo Vision, that's another 30% stamina drain, plus they're taking stamina leakage. So you can actually turn this into a 3-turn stun. Your denial monster stunning, this guy doing stam drains, your denial monster will stun again, and then the stam drains actually have finally kicked all the way into 0 stamina, they have to recharge. So I think he makes a phenomenal damage dealer, far, 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 far more better than running him as a denial-based monster. Running him as support even will work with like 2 team speeds, and a strength will be just fine to help buff your denial monster speed a little bit. But my recommended runing for this guy would be either A, it'd be 1 team speed or 1 speed and 2 strength, or 2 speed / 2 team speed and 1 strength. Because I think damage dealer is this guy's primary role, and he really shines at it. Now, if you do want to run him denial, which I'm gonna say again, I don't suggest it because he only has 1 skill that's an actual guaranteed stamina drain, and it's only a single enemy. So if you want to run it that way, you're running it risky, but obviously 3 speed if you're going denial roll for him. But like I said, I think that's his weaker role. So what we're going to do now is actually compare him to other monsters that kind of are like him, that are stamina drainers and such, and we'll see where he stacks up. Alright, so the monster we're going to compare him to first is the one I think he is most like, and that is Blob. Now you'll notice Blob is a little stronger, he has a little higher base power, he also has a higher base speed, but his health is way, way, way lower. So you can actually use him kind of to counter the Thunderbug if you'd like to, but, you know, he's water with low health, it's a risky maneuver. His trait's energized, which means, in my opinion, that makes him weaker than the Sparking Mantis due to the fact that he has no immunity to a crowd control. And that's a weakness in my opinion, but as special, it's not an AoE stun like the Mantis is. It's actually a 50% stamina drain with stam leakage. So it's not a true stun, but depending on when you get this in the battle, it can faux stun the enemies due to no stamina. Alright, so a couple things to take away here. He only has 1 AoE stam drain, and it's only 30 base power. So it's weaker than Diurnal Habits and Stereo Vision, but it does a 50% stam drain. So it's not bad, it's absolutely not bad. Another thing to take into account here is his 100% stam drain skill, Fluid Smash, actually does damage. So that, in my opinion, is a little stronger than Thunder Mantis because it actually does damage and drains stamina. Up to you whether you know, what you see on that. But I think that is a little bit superior to the Sparking Mantis, but then like I said again, he only has the 1 AoE stamina drain, so that makes him a little weaker. Also, his highest base of damage is a 60 damage skill, whereas Sparking Mantis has a 75 power skill. The tiny little bit of bump in power that Blob has does not make up for a 15 damage less skill. That's just my opinion. So I think that Blob is a very good contender. He's still a really good person, but I think Sparking Mantis actually edges him out as the best damage dealing stamina drainer. That's just my opinion. Alright, so now I'm going to compare him to a denial-based stamina drainer as well. Now, I know General Thades is like the first one that comes to mind, but Thades only has a single stamina draining skill. That's the only stamina drain that she actually has. So I thought Frostbite would be a better example, just because. So, Frostbite, he's a little stronger, whatever, but the power is not what you're going for here. He's the denial monster, everybody knows that. You run him with 3 speed. We're going to jump in, and we're going to look mainly at his skills. You'll see Glacial Snowstorm removes 100% of stamina from the target and may freeze all targets. Now, this is where I see the big difference between people saying they want to run Sparking Mantis as denial and a truly denial-based stamina drainer like Frostbite. You notice Frostbite does drain the stamina of one target 100%, but he also freezes the other ones. You know, he also freezes everyone, so it turns his 1 deny into an actual AoE deny, and that's what's important. Single target denial monsters are just over the board inferior to AoE denial monsters. I don't care how you want to slice it, it's true. That's just the way that it is. So, another thing you're going to notice here is that that's not his only AoE deny. He's got other moves that fully deny somebody as well, and this is something that Sparking Mantis is missing. He's got another skill, Icy Leech, that removes 100% stamina from the target, and another AoE freeze, Piercing Rainfall. So he can actually control enemies for more than just 1 turn, and he can control multiple enemies. This is why I say that Sparking Mantis is not meant to be a denial roll. It's just not what he's built for. He's actually built to control one person, but that's a good thing for a damage dealer. He can remove stamina from everybody, but he's also doing heavy damage at the same time, whereas something like Frostbite is controlling the enemy's turn after turn, and that's what makes the difference between a damage dealer and a denial monster, in my opinion. So, one more monster here is going to be Disaster. Now, this guy's brand new, just came out in the maze. I think it's still going on right now. It won't be over by the time I upload this. But Disaster. Now, you'll notice here he does have some stamina draining skills. The Crawling Chaos is an AoE 50% stamina drain, with Stamina Leak on top of that, and gives 50% stam to all allies. Now, that on its face is a solid skill. It's a decent, almost full deny-based skill, but it's not all the way a denial. And you'll see down there, Teeth Tickle is also a 50% stamina drain, but again, what sets this guy apart from Sparking Mantis is the extra control moves. Thousand Forms, a 2-turn possession. Faceless Being, an AoE possession. You know, that is what sets him apart from being not a damage dealer, and instead running as a denial monster. So, that's kind of why I say do not run Denial on Sparking Mantis. There's much better Denials that do stamina drain. He is by far a more superior damage dealer. So that's just kind of my quick analysis of Disaster there. It's not like a full-blown thing here. But like I said here, looking at all four of them, you can honestly tell which one Sparking Mantis is more like. He's not more like Frostbite or Disaster. He's much more similar to Blob, the damage dealer. So that's, again, why I recommend you run Sparking Mantis damage dealer mode and not denial mode, because he's more like other monsters that do that, and I think he actually does the job a little better. So that is it, guys. Alright, guys, so that is the analysis of Sparking Mantis. Everything you pretty much need to know about him, where he fits in. I think he's a pretty solid monster. He's definitely someone you should probably pick up. You know, good for Thunder Wars and stuff like that later on. But if you guys have any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos, don't forget to leave those in the down there, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you liked the video, please make sure you smash that thumbs up button to show your support, and I will see you guys next time.